Kaya Shakshurmilajam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Gurvavista Suburakam Guru Ganaya Shisasam Bhushidam Chintyachincha Samasta Veda Nipunam Sri Rupa Pantanagam Govindavidam Ujjalam Bharatanam Bhaktanvidam Sundaram Bande Vishwagurun Chidivya Bhagavat Premnohi Bija Padam Namam Vishnu Vadaya Krishna Vasaya Bhutale Swami Shri Bhakti Vedanta Prabhu Vadaya Te Namah Gurvagyam Shri Sri Dutta Shaktavesha Swarupine Hare Krishna Iti Mantrena Pasyatya Prashitarane Visvacharya Pravaryaya Divyakarunya Murtaye Sri Bhagavata Madhurya Gita Jnana Pradayine Gaura Sri Rupa Siddhanta Saraswati Nishevine Radha Krishna Padambojo Vringaya Gurave Namaha Devam Divyatanam Surandavarnam Balarka Chelanchitam Sandrananda Puram Sad Eka Varanam Vairagya Vidyam Bhutim Sri Siddhanta Nidhim Subhakti Lasitam Saraswatanam Varam Bandetam Shubhadam Mad Eka Sharanam Nasishwaram Sridharam Sri Siddhanta Saraswati Ti Vidito Gauriya Gurvan Vaye Patobano Riva Prabhata Gagane Yo Gaura Sankirtanai Mayavada Chimingilo Daragatan Udriti Jivaniman Krishna Prema Sudabdi Gana Sukham Pradat Prabhum Tam Bhaje Jai Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai Shri Shri Jai Gurudev Jai Gurudev Jai Shri Prabhupada Jivanamritam Ki Jai Shri Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Okay, still reading Karpanyam, chapter 8, Shri Bhakta Vachanamritam, words of nectar from the devotees, Karpanyam, surrender in humility. Okay. Okay, so we're on 15, surrender in humility, life nectar of the surrendered souls. Compilation by Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj. Here on this Karpanyam, it's interesting, he's has given a couple of quotes from Uddhava, but many quotes from Jamunacharya. Beautiful Sanskrit shlokas about surrender, given by Sri Jamunacharya, who is, you know, not exactly in our line, but nonetheless a great Vaishnava, and you know, understanding by his own you know, personal transcendental experience what it is to surrender. And obviously Srila Guru Maharaj very much appreciates his position. So even today, the South Indian Vaishnavas and the Sri Sampradaya, they've divided into two different groups, but generally to speak to them is really nice. They're very much involved in the idea of loving surrender, and even though they put emphasis on Sanskrit, they do follow the prayers of the great wandering bhakta practitioners, mostly devotees of Krishna, called the Alwars. Anyway, okay, so number 15, Guru Maharaj's summary, heartfelt petition in stark humility. Suspashta Dainyenatma Vigyapti. Heartfelt petition in stark humility. Jamunacharya says, O Mukunda, there is no offensive activity in this world that I have not performed thousands of times. Now finally, I have no alternative but to simply weep before you. So Jamunacharya, citing the position of the conditioned soul, seeing, perceiving, feeling, understanding it, having compassion, and himself in full humility, realizing I've been attempting 1,000 different ways to try to find fulfillment in this world, but without success, always making offense. But finally, I've come to the stage where there's nothing else but surrender to your lotus feet. And this is, high stage of realization, high stage of development in devotion, where the devotee has nothing. But we all kind of experience that in different ways, in different degrees, at different times in our devotional life, that really, there isn't any alternative. Sometimes the mind tells us there is, but in our hearts we know that, ultimately we must surrender. And this is the grace of Sri Guru and the line of surrendered souls that have, done this either through descending or ascending. It really doesn't matter either way. Okay, so na ninditam karma tad asti loke sahara sho yang na maya vyadhaya soham vipaka vasare mukunda krandam sampratyagatis tanagre. Sri Jamunacharya. So I have no alternative but simply to weep. So next, Srila Guru Maharaj's number 16, Srila Guru Maharaj's summary. The realization of feeling oneself to be situated on the outer limit of the unlimited, merciful Lord's mercy. Situated on the outer limit of the unlimited, merciful Lord's mercy. Okay, the Sanskrit should be amazing on this one. Asima kripasya kripaya shesa simatagargatam atmanam anubhavati. Anubhavati. So much kripa, the Lord's mercy, the merciful Lord's mercy, but yet on the outer limit. Can't really tell what that would be. Anubhavati, I'm not sure. Okay, Jamunacharya again. O Lord, I was drowning in the fathomless, endless ocean of material existence. And now, after immeasurable time, I have reached the shore, your divine self. And you also have finally obtained the most fit recipient for your mercy. So Guru Maharaj is situated on the outer limit of the unlimitedly merciful Lord's mercy. So Jamunacharya is saying he's crossed the ocean, now he's reached the shore, and he's come in contact with the divine self of the Lord, and come to the stage of obtaining mercy because he's so desperate. So Guru Maharaj analyzing it, that he's feeling on the outer limit. He's come to the mercy of the Lord, but he's still, feeling far away. That the Lord is giving mercy because I'm so fallen, therefore I'm very far away. So Jamunacharya is expressing the low feeling of the Vaishnava, even in the higher stages of making connection with the Lord. Okay, we'll do one more. 17. Guru Maharaj's summary. A devotee of the Lord naturally considers himself to be lowly, and never does he consider himself a devotee. It's like that story we all remember of the devotees in the early days when there was such disturbance and people were making offense. And the devotees came to Srila Guru Maharaj and said, all these people, they're making Vaishnava aparad, we have to do something. And Guru Maharaj said, Vaishnava aparad, who are they offending? And they said, oh, you, Guru Maharaj. He said, oh, I am not a Vaishnava. And, in a sweet, humble way, but he meant it. How is it, how is it possible? He's seeing these, like really lowly, but pretty much sincere practitioners coming from the West who are really contaminated, but he's thinking they're Vaishnavas, but he's not a Vaishnava. So, but if Guru Maharaj is not a Vaishnava, nobody is a Vaishnava. So it must be that the definition of a Vaishnava, a real Vaishnava, is one who is involved in total devotion, but feels himself not, not in the position of being a Vaishnava. So naturally considers himself to be lowly and never considers himself a devotee. So this is a quote from Jagannath. O Yadavendra, when I think of your name, Dinabandhu, friend of the fallen, I, who am fallen, feel encouraged. But hearing that you are Bhaktavatsala, affectionate to the devotees, my heart suddenly trembles. I don't know if this is the Jagannath in our line, but it well may be. Dinabandhu, friend of the fallen, I'm fallen, I feel good, I'm encouraged, he's coming to help. Hearing your Bhaktavatsala, having affection for the devotees, my heart trembles because I feel like I'm not a devotee, as Guru Maharaj has given the summary. So it's kind of, it's kind of inconceivable, actually, to, it's a chintya, that kind of realization that, immersed in loving surrender, coming in contact with the Supreme Lord, and because of that, contact, realizing the insurmountable greatness of the Lord, that one can never come into that, real proximity. So they're feeling they don't have it, but actually they do. So it's like that. Srila Prabhupada used to tell us, if you think you have it, you don't have it. Okay. Shri Prabhupada Jivanamritam ki jai. Shri Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Okay, wonderful. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Srila Bhakti, no. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Srila A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Srila Bhakti Nirmal Acharya Maharaj ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswata Mat Acharya Brinda ki jai. Okay. Okay, so Mahaprabhu is now giving the explanation of the Vaishnava Vedanta to the Mayavadi sannyasis, and indicating to them that there are direct meanings contained in the Upanishads and in the Brahma Sutra, and they should be understood as they are, not not with kind of hazy, imposed meanings, thinking that the verses are somehow or other telling us something that's different than what's contained there. They're kind of like some kind of, I forget what they're called. I can't remember. Some kind of tricky verse that that indicates something that's that's not clearly defined in the verse itself. It's a little subtle in this understanding, because we know that Sanskrit is perceivable on different levels, and yet it's directly straightforward in its perception. So, within that idea of direct perception, there is a notion of different levels of understanding, which is distinct from the Mayavadi notion of, inferred conclusions based on the initial statement. One is speculating and distorting the actual verse, and one is refining, more clearly defining, bringing out the actual depth of the verse. So there is we should understand there's a clear difference, and that's why every time we read the books that are given to us by our gurus, there's some new light. There's no doubt about it. As we make progress, new things appear that we didn't see before. And Srila Gurudev told us, even he, every time he reads the Bhagavad Gita, he sees something new, something fresh. So it's part of the nature of reality, that it's ever fresh, ever growing, ever expanding, and the books are like that. As we develop, we see more of what's there, but simultaneously, the books themselves are, growing and expanding, because they're part of that, the nature of that reality, which is transcendental and vibrant and progressive. Okay. So text 111, Adi Lila, chapter 7, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. According to direct understanding, the absolute truth is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has all spiritual opulences. No one can be greater, no one can be equal or greater than Him. Okay, we did this. There's a statement from Srimad Bhagavatam that concludes this, that ultimately Bhagavan is the Supreme Lord, beyond Brahman and Paramatma. Text 112. Everything about the Supreme Personality of Godhead is spiritual, including his body, opulence, and paraphernalia. Mayavadi philosophy, however, covering his spiritual opulence, advocates the theory of impersonalism. Tanghar vibhuti deha sab chid akara, chid vibhuti achadi tare kahi nirakara. Nirakara, without form. Chit akara, spiritual form. Chit viduti, vibhuti, spiritual opulence. So his vibhuti, his spiritual power, and his spiritual form, and his spiritual opulence are there in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but the Mayavadi philosophers, these guys, kahe, they say it's nirakara, it's without form. So Prabhupada says, advocates the theory of impersonalism. And then Brahma Samhita, Ishvara Parama Krishna, Satchit Ahanda Vigraha, and Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam, cause of all causes. So, whenever in the scriptures, Prabhupada says the Lord is defined as nirakara, without form, that means he has no material form. So sometimes the Upanishad says he, has arms, but he doesn't have arms. He has legs, but he doesn't have legs. He runs, but he doesn't run, and things like that. Which, the impersonalists conclude, well, that means that he has no legs. But the Vaishnavas conclude it means that he has spiritual legs, because he does run, but he doesn't run. He doesn't run in a material sense, but he does run in a spiritual sense. And they would say, oh, that means he runs in a material sense, but doesn't run in a spiritual sense, in an impersonal spiritual sense. Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad, Purnam Adap Purnam Idam Purnat Purnam Udachate. Supreme Personality of Godhead, he's always one, but yet he expands into so many different forms, remaining that same one. Everything emanates from me. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate. Everything emanates from me, Bhagavad Gita. The Mayavadi philosophers can't properly explain why Krishna constantly uses the personal pronouns. They say he's indicating me as Brahman, but it's nowhere stated in Bhagavad Gita that by Krishna that's what he's doing. Okay. The master of all opulences. This is Vidaham etam purusham mahantam adityavarnam tamasa parastat. Now I understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead to be the greatest of the great. He is effulgent like the sun and beyond this material world. This is Svatisvatara Upanishad. Similarly, the Rig Veda, Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam Sada Pasyanti Surayaha. Vishnu is the supreme, and those who are actually learned think only of his lotus feet. Then he quotes the Prashna Upanishad, the Aitareya Upanishad, the Katha Upanishad, and the Svatisvatara Upanishad. All these, have been compiled by, the great commentaries on the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the great commentators on the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and Srila Prabhupada is conveying them to us as they have been given, translating into language which we can understand. So he's giving us, really, I guess it's Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur commented on the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Is that right?
I think there's a few.
Yeah. Baladev's and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur also, I think so. Yeah, yeah. So Srila Prabhupada is drawing from all these great souls who have, given us indications of the meanings of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So, one of the conclusions we should draw is that the understanding of the presentation of great souls like Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Baladev Vidyabhusan, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and his guru Srila Bhakti Saraswati Thakur has been distilled by Srila Prabhupada and presented to us in a way in which we can properly digest their presentation. So, for us to think that we can, as some people think, that we can go directly to Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and make our conclusions based on that is really saying that that they know better than Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and others, and what Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, who directed us to read this book. Anyway, so so many quotes from the Upanishads that indicate clearly Krishna is the opulent one who has a transcendental form. Text 113. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is full of spiritual potencies. Therefore, his body, name, fame, and entourage are all spiritual. The Mayavadi philosopher, due to ignorance, says that these are all merely transformations of the material modes of goodness. So, yeah, they think sattva guna and even shuddha sattva, which we know is transcendental spiritual existence, they believe that ultimately is, the highest plane of material existence, which is very pure and refined and very close to, merging into the Brahman effulgence. And these things go on in, pastimes on that level, but they're all ultimately material because they all ultimately merge into the oneness of the Brahman effulgence. So I think they're merely transformations of the mode of goodness, which actually is, quite offensive. So, Chid Ananda Tenho Tanra Stana Parivara Tare Kahe Prakrita Satvera Vikara. Vikara, transformation. That's what they say. It's Prakrita Satvera Vikara. Material goodness transformed. And these people, Kahe, someone says that is just a transformation. But we know it is Chit Ananda, and Teno, he is a personality living in his sthana, his abode, with his parivara, his entourage. So Mahaprabhu is giving clear indication of the actual reality, and at the same time, indicating the incorrect vision of the Mayavadis. So Prabhupada cites the Vishnu Purana, the Bhagavatam, the Bhagavad Gita, Trigunya Visaya Veda, Nistrigunya Bhavarjuna. The material quality of goodness, passion, and ignorance cannot act in the spiritual world, which is therefore called nirguna, as clearly indicated in the Bhagavad Gita. Now Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will disassociate Lord Shiva from Mayavadi philosophy in the following verse. Oftentimes the Mayavadis particularly like to use Lord Shiva as the the final example of one who is like meditating on the impersonal Brahman and is going to merge into the impersonal Brahman, and they worship Lord Shiva generally, not Vishnu, not Krishna. Though some do, mostly secondarily, just because they think, well, he's one of the high representations also. But they pick Shiva. Perhaps the reason will be given in the next verse. So, translation, text 114, Shankar Acharya, who is an incarnation of Lord Shiva, is faultless because he is a servant carrying out the orders of the Lord. But those who follow his Mayavadi philosophy are doomed. They will lose all their advancement in spiritual knowledge. Tara dosha nahi teho agya kordi dasa ara ye shune tara hoya sarvanasha. Wow. Sarvanasha, everything is lost. But those people that hear the shune wrongly from him, they become lost. So he's actually a dasa, he's actually a servant, agya kordi, carrying the order in obedience to the Lord. He's doing that. Okay, Prabhupada goes on to say how there's different Mayavadi scholars. Sadhananda Yogindra, called Vedanta Sara, where he expands on the philosophy of Shankaracharya, and defines Brahman as Satchit Ananda combined with knowledge without duality, defines ignorance, Jada, as knowledge distinct from that of Sat and Asat. In simple language, it is the opinion of Sadhananda Yogindra that since everything is nirakara, formless, the conception of Vishnu and the conception of the individual soul are both products of ignorance. He also explains that Vishuddha Sattva, conception of the Vaishnavas, is nothing but pradhana, or the chief principle of creation. So it's very offensive. It thinks that the ultimate realization of the Vaishnavas is, the highest or the ultimate origin of all of material creation, which is the pradhana, which is just a big lump of matter. And so that's where they put the Supreme Lord. This, it appears as though this Sadhananda Yogindra is very influential in the development of Mayavadi philosophy. Sometimes it's said that the philosophy it's taken directly from Shankaracharya in Sharirakbhasya is Brahmavadi and distinct from Mayavadi, which developed later, maybe by this Sadhananda Yogindra. Now, Brahmavad still holds that there's something real in this world, whereas Mayavadi says it's all just kind of a fake illusion, which somehow or other these little particles of spirit have stumbled into. Or they think they've stumbled into it, but it's really not there, or something. It's really quite crazy. What was that example? Someone is thinking that it's all illusion. It's all, it's all false. There's nothing really here. And then, I think it was Prabhupada, maybe it was one of his disciples who said, so then, just punch him in the face. It didn't really happen. Something like that. Okay. Okay, next one. Text 115. One who considers the transcendental body of Lord Vishnu to be made of material nature is the greatest offender at the lotus feet of the Lord. There is no greater blasphemy against the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prakrita Korya Mane Vishnu Kalevara Vishnu Ninda Ara Nahi Ihara Upara. So one accepts Lord Vishnu's Kalevara body Vishnu Ninda, defaming or blaspheming Vishnu. There's nothing greater than this. Taking this to be so as prakrita, as material. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami explains that the variegated personal feature of the Absolute Truth is the Vishnu Tattva, and the material energy which creates this cosmic manifestation is the energy of Lord Vishnu. The creative force is merely the energy of the Lord, but the foolish conclude that the Lord has no separate existence because he has distributed himself in an impersonal form. The impersonal Brahman, however, cannot possess energies, nor do the Vedic literature state that Maya, the illusory energy, is covered by another Maya. There are hundreds and thousands of references, however, to Vishnu Maya, Parasya Shakti, or the energy of Lord Vishnu. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna refers to Mama Maya, my energy, that Maya is controlled by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is not that he is covered by Maya. Therefore, Lord Vishnu cannot be the product of the material energy. In the beginning of the Vedanta Sutra, it is said, Janmadhyasya yataha, indicating that the material energy is also an emanation of the Supreme Brahman. How then could he be covered by the material energy? Janmadhyasya jataha. So these are all answers that we can give when we're confronted with people who have this misunderstanding. Maya parita jnana, which applies to them in the Bhagavad Gita, extremely appropriate. They can't understand simple arguments, and they explain things in a distorted, complicated way, and their knowledge has been stolen by the illusory energy. Mata parataram na nyat. There is no truth superior to Krishna, to me, mata, Krishna says. Yanti deva brata devan yanti madhyajino pimam. The worshippers of the demigods will be promoted to the respective planets of the demigods, but the devotees of the Supreme Lord will go back home, back to Godhead. Yes, again, he says, yajino pimam. They come to me. The material energy is very difficult to overcome. Daivi hesha gunamayi mama maya duratya, very difficult. So even learned scholars and so-called spiritualists are covered with Maya, and they think themselves as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mam eva ye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. One must free oneself from Maya and surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So these offenders who consider Vishnu to be the same as the demigods, even though it's clearly differentiated here in the Bhagavad Gita, they are Maya Yaparita Jnana, those whose knowledge has been stolen by the influence of illusion. Then he finishes with a quote from Padma Purana. Arche Vishnu Shiladir Gurushu Naramatir Vaishnave Jati Buddhi. Padma Purana. One who considers the Archa Murti, or worshipable deity of Lord Vishnu, to be stone, the spiritual master to be an ordinary human being, and a Vaishnava to belong to a particular caste or creed, is possessed of hellish intelligence. One who follows such conclusions is doomed. So Srila Prabhupada is pretty strong, citing evidence given by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur from Padma Purana and largely Bhagavad Gita. He'll do one more verse. Text 116. Ishvarera, oh no. The Lord is like a great blazing fire, and the living entities are like small sparks of that fire. Ishvarera tattva yena jvalita jvalana jivera swarupa yaiche spurlingera karna. Spurlingera, a spark, karna, particle. That jivera swarup is a spark, a particle of the Ishvara Tattva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who yena jvalita, yena jvalita jvalana, is like a blazing jvalita, jvalana, fire. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead, like a blazing fire, the living entities are his sparks. So Prabhupada goes on to talk about the position of the living entity in relation to the material nature, quoting Bhagavad Gita. The Lord is described in Vedanta Sutra as Anandamayo Vyasat. He is by nature the reservoir of all pleasures, and because he wants to enjoy pleasure, there must be energies to give him pleasure or supply him the impetus for pleasure. This is the perfect philosophical understanding of the absolute truth. Basic principle of existence of the living entities is chidvilas, or spiritual pleasure. So the whole thing is revolving around the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the whole notion of his pleasure is underlain with the principle of love. So the whole, the whole reality, the whole existence, even penetrating into the material world, is a revolving around this this principle, chidvilas, spiritual pleasure, and everyone's seeking that. And in the material world, they're running from this object to that person to this object, trying to find that, but are unsuccessful. And eventually, the lesson is learned, and one begins the long process of working on escaping or breaking away from the temporary energy by receiving the higher grace of the Lord. So we act in devotion as best we can, and the Lord, if He likes, gives reciprocation, and we gradually leave our conditioning behind. So like a blazing fire, we're parts of Him. So spark of the fire, the spark is a spark. It's not, you can't, it's distinct. You can't say that it's fire. It is fire, but it's distinct from the fire itself. But it's part of the fire, no doubt. So Mahaprabhu gives the perfect example. Okay, anything, Didi? Anything, Didi? Okay. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai. We'll start on text 117. Mahaprabhu is saying how this is all very vividly described in the Bhagavad Gita, the Vishnu Purana, and other Vedic literatures. Okay. Text 117 tomorrow. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Srila Bhakti A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Rakhak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Nirmala Charya Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswata Mat Acharya Brinda Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswata Mat Vaishnava Brinda Ki Jai. All the Vaishnava Brinda Ki Jai. Shri Yukta Bhakti Vishaka Devidasi Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Bol. Okay. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Gopala Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudana. Gopala Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudana. Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohana. Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohana. Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra. Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra. Srivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhattara Vinata. Jiva Gopala Bhatta Jata Raghunata. Jai Gosai Kori Sarna Bandhana. Jai Vignanash Abhishta Purana. Jai Gosai Jar Munitar Jata. Kamsavara Padorinu Mora Panchavyasa. Kanya Rattarana Sevi Bhaktasami Vasa. Jamname Mora Eya Vilasa. Jai Gosai Jai Bhaje Kolavasa. Shri Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakasa. Anande Bolo Hari Vajavinda Mahana. Guru Vaishnava Pade Madai Namana. Guru Vaishnava Pade Madai Namana. Nam Sankirtan Kore Narottama Dasa. Hari Nam Sankirtan Kore Narottama Dasa. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Sri Guru Gauranga Radha Giridhari Ju Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupad Shri Bhakti Nirmala Charya Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupad Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Madhacharya Vrinda Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupad Shri Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupad Shri Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupad Shri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupad, no. Shri Rupananda Guru Varga Ki Jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Samaveta Vaishnava Mandala Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Mata Ki Jai. London Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Mata Ki Jai. Visvabhyapita Diya Shaka Mata Ki Jai. Visvavarenya Srila A.C. Bhakti Swami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveta Vaishnava Mandala ki jai. Samaveta Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hari Nam Sankirtan ki jai. Itai Gaur Premanandi Hari Gaur. Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda